3 seasons, 3 championships. When it comes to the Mazda MX-5 Cup, no team's been more dominant than the Atlanta Motorsports Group. But after 3 years of pushing champion drivers up the Mazda speed ladder, they need to rebuild. That leaves the door wide open to anyone to step through. As we begin a brand new season of coverage of the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Sebring International Raceway, known for endurance and for determination. But for sprint racers, this place poses a different set of problems. How to go fast with the constant pounding. How to stay smooth when this racetrack is anything but. It's a challenge drivers have come to face for 60 years. There's only one place like it. There's only one Sebring. And welcome to Sebring International Raceway for the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin, one of America's great road racers. Randy Popes will join me topside for our coverage of the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup all season long. Randy, they've been coming to this great place for 60 seasons.
Sebring is a combination of the very old and the very new. Pavement changes, camber changes in the road. This track takes everything a Mazda MX-5 has to give.
We're excited to bring you coverage of this great series all season long. Let's meet the third member of our broadcast team. Here's Todd Lewis.
Steve McAleer is the pole sitter. A great accomplishment in your first race in this series. How do you approach corner number 1 as you lead the field?
Well, obviously, I think it's super important to get a good start. This actually is going to be the first time in my career doing a standard start. So a little bit nervous. I've had a few practice starts and yeah, hopefully get through turn 1. I have my teammate directly behind me, so maybe we can work together and pull a gap on the lead.
Good luck. Stephen McAleer will lead them into corner number 1. As mentioned, it is his first standing start. We'll be watching the cars as they pull away.
And McAleer racing for C.J. Wilson's team, one of the stronger teams in the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup. Now, Randy Popes, these are great little race cars. They make a lot of power, very lightweight, right?
I used to race the Miata, and now the MX-5 is more powerful. It's a little bigger car, but guess what? It's really not much heavier. I so admire the MX-5 for holding the line on the weight. One of the lightest cars out there, but it's carrying 200 horse, which is more power than the Corvette had in the 70s. This is a quick little car. Got the 6-speed gearbox, very close ratio. The drivers are shifting all the time. The suspension is pretty much stock, but it's adjustable for fine tuning. The brakes are stock, they just last and last. And the tires are BF Goodrich G-Force R1s. They're sticky, they're almost like a racing slick.
Yeah, they've worked a lot on these tires. BFG has been the tire supplier for the series the last couple of years. They've gotten those tires to where they're durable and they're fast. They don't fall off much, do they?
Well, that's an important factor in racing too. You've got to preserve your tires, but I think these guys can push them really hard.
Starting lineup for today's event at Sebring, Stephen McAleer has the pole. We met him. Elliott Skier, the Mazda Speed Shootout winner, lines up alongside. Series veteran Lionel Kent, couple of wins, and young Nathaniel Sparks. That's an independent team for Sparks in that 3-car. NASCAR veteran Chad McCumbee making a rare road course start, and series veteran Aaron Malkassian, team principal of Alara Racing. He'll line up 6th. He leads in career starts in the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup. Dan Bender, Richard Pickett in the 6th. He'll line up 8th on the grid today as we get set to go here at Sebring. Charles Paquin, Harrison Williams has been doing this for a long time. He runs for the Alara team as well. He'll start 10th in the 0-0 car today. Tim Probert, who's also been in the series for several years. Brett Mosing, Jeff's brother, will line up 12th. Jeff Mosing, a series veteran, now running in the Continental Tire Series. Al Caiola from the New York area. And then Christian Tetzlaff, you know him, right?
He's a buddy of mine. He teaches auto shop right there in Gainesville, Georgia.
Beth Christ, one of our female competitors, and Thomas Neal. They'll make up the 8th row here today. We've got 2 classes. Emily Timinovich, she's part of that True Car group we were talking about.
Empowering women drivers and women all over the country. Dean
Copeland, series veteran, a couple of wins to his credit. Christian Simzak and John Dean back in the 10th row. Now, they were DQ'd at qualifying.
They had really bad luck with something about some old fuel in one of their tanks, and these guys are going to come right through the pack. And John Dean, heck, I used to race with his father before he was born.
I was going to say, you're not that old, I know that. But yeah, so you see these young guys, you see these guys come along periodically. Now, we've got a second division of cars, all the red cars. They're Skip Barber Mazda Speed Challenge entries. They won't be quite up to speed, but they're important competitors. Dennis Trebing, who's got a lot of Mazda background, Zachary Lee, David Knight, Dan Moen, Brian Hickson, Scala, Javier Rapoli, Paul Minichello, and Douglas Brown will make up our 9 cars in that category. First time ever for a standing start for the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup.
I've done a lot of them, and they are thrilling, they're frightening, they're really hard on the cars, frankly.
Now, Randy, take us for a lap around Sebring International Raceway before we get going here today.
This is my absolute favorite flat track. No hills, but the road, it changes so much. Okay, here we go. We're exiting turn 17, heading up the front straight. This is the old B17 concrete, very bouncy and rough. You can see me having to work the wheel as we go over the bumps. I'm up in 4th gear and screaming up into 5th, down into turn 3. I've got to remember these numbers. Decreasing radius. You get right on the power, flat through this kink. Very deceptive camber here as you're doing the carousel. Leading out onto the back straight, very important corner because you're heading for the hairpin. The hairpin is one of the best passing positions at Sebring. You get up quite a bit of speed, running through the gears in the little MX-5. It's a quick car, and the lack of the roof just increases the sensation of speed. Brake super, super late, hard on the brakes. It's totally about braking coming to the hairpin because it's all the way down to 2nd gear for a tight corner. The curbs are wide, and you can use them. Now we're heading for the Green Park chicane. These corners used to be a little tighter. Now in the MX-5s, they're pretty much a straightaway. You just want to minimize your drag. You can go through here 3 wide in MX-5s, and I bet we're going to see it today. Turn 10, another good place to pass. It's a flat corner. You don't need to apex it. You can track all the way out and just hug that curve around 11 and 12. Right into the sun in the early morning. It can be tough in one of those early morning qualifying sessions. My favorite corner, turn 13, off camber at the turn in. Big camber like a bank corner at the apex. Off camber at the track out. It's like driving 3 corners at once. And now we're up in 15. It's like an autocross, left, right, left. Turn 16 is off camber. The grip is not good. The BFGs have really got to try to stick. Down that long straightaway, this is a draft. This is where the draft lives, down the straightaways. And the MX-5s are really susceptible to drafting. And if you can make it work for you, it's worth at least a second a lap. You get way up to the top of 5th gear, into turn 17. We're on the old concrete. It's rough. It's a cornering and braking maneuver. The car is really challenged. The MX-5 actually is pretty darn good through here. I've never driven a car that could be so flat over the giant bump under the bridge. Tracking out onto the straightaway, spread them out, and cross the start-finish.
3.7, very tough miles. Before we go green, here's Todd Lewis.
Cars have formed up, ready on the starting grid for the opening of the race. We heard our pole sitter Steve McAleer talk about being worried about the start. Standing starts can be difficult. Dean Copeland broke a hub earlier today during qualifying, never got a time. It's important to have a good start, but also not to hurt your equipment on the start. All eyes are focused on these lights.
Getting set to go at Sebring, opening race of the 2012 Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup. Glad to have you with us at Sebring. Keep an eye on those lights. Now, Randy, you're familiar with this lighting system because this is what World Challenge uses as well.
And they're off. And you can see the variation. Some guys too much wheel spin, sometimes not enough. Somebody didn't even move.
I think that's Chad McCumbie's machine, the Mod Space car out of the C.J. Wilson stables. McCumbie, the NASCAR veteran. What happened? You dropped the clutch, there's nothing there, huh?
The combination of that concrete, high grip, and those BFG tires, it's a torture test on the drivetrain.
Man, and they are 3 wide through the first couple of corners here at Sebring. Right now, the challenge is don't get hit and get taken out.
This is like kung fu fighting, man. They're on the left, they're on the right. Oh no, and somebody goes around. Somebody got a little tap in the carousel.
If you get a little nudge in one of these cars, it's easy to go right. You certainly want to stay on the blacktop as well, because if you get off in the dirt, you can really cause problems for your tires. And your buddy Christian
It's my buddy Christian. Ah, too bad.
Man.
But not bad for 30 cars, you know.
Everybody clean as we get away on lap number 1. Let's get downstairs to Todd.
Just as we suspected, guys, it's exactly the problem Chad McCumbee had off the start. They broke something in the driveline. Just checked with the team. They're not sure exactly what it is yet, but he broke something as he popped the clutch, trying to get away quickly. His day done early.
Well, guess what? He's lucky nobody hit him. I've been there, buddy. It is not a lot of good driving to get around there.
Chad McCumbee qualified pretty well. He was starting 5th. You've got 25 other cars behind you. Yeah, that was a frightening moment for him, I'm sure. Everybody else away cleanly. Single file racing for the moment here at Sebring.
Well, they're starting to look for partners. They're starting to figure out where they can go. And here comes John Dean up through the pack. Already picked up positions.
That 6 sideways team, they're based here at Sebring. They had a lot of experience in drifting and autocrossing, things like that. They've decided to go pro racing this year, and Dean picks up 9 spots. We're not even 1 lap into this.
He's on his way up with Simchek in tow. On the back straight, here's the draft working. Look, the leaders are they're teammates. They're working together. He's staying right in there, and it adds 3-4 miles an hour.
Stephen McAleer, Elliott Skier racing. Of course, Skier, the winner of the Mazda Speed Shootout to get this funded ride this season. These are 2 of the C.J. Wilson entries as well. They're doing a great job here on lap number 1.
I don't care how good he is. I'm nervous if I got a 17-year-old pushing on my back bumper. I mean, come on.
Lap number 1, McAleer and Skier. Lionel Kent in 3rd spot. Now, Kent from East Tennessee, a veteran of this series. He's got a couple of wins to his credit. This may be a one-off drive. He needs to have a great day today.
Yeah, he does. Every day needs to be a great day in the MX-5 Cup because these cars don't tolerate mistakes. You have to be smooth. You got to keep, well, smooth and consistent is just really important with MX-5s.
Working the early moments of this race, the season opener at Sebring International Raceway, the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup, one of the most coveted road racing championships because it can propel you into a great career. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sebring International Raceway, the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Glad to have you with us with Randy Pope, Steinbrück Benjamin, on board with Dean Copeland, young driver out of the suburbs of Washington, D.C. Randy had to start deep in the field. He has made some great moves earlier.
Dean is coming on. He won 2 races late last year, and I love that in-car video. It's just like driving.
Really gives you a sense of what these Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup drivers do. Copeland from 18th to 9th here in the early going in that black 7 car. The 2 6 sideways cars right in front of him. Now, these guys also struggled. If John Dean, Christian Zibzak had to start deep in the field. Little fuel violation and pre-race tech inspection set them back. Let's take a look at how Dean Copeland has gotten to this point. The 2 wins last year. He's run partial seasons previously. Todd had a chance to speak with him earlier in the weekend.
Everybody seems to be touting you as the favorite to win the championship. Do you feel like you have a bit of a target on your back?
Yeah, kind of coming into the weekend, I kind of hoped that that was going to be the situation, but we got a lot of new teams and new guys this year, and I'm honestly shocked. Like, I'm behind the 8 ball, and I was expecting to come in with the overdog, but I look for the black and orange car. You're making a hard charge to the front.
I like that little pop-up 10 he's standing under.
Yeah.
He reminds me of me when I started my career.
Just starting off, a couple of guys, a trailer in the toolbox,
Yes,
right?
sir.
There you go. All right, McAleer and Skier, 1-2 for C.J. Wilson Racing. This is the final corner at Sebring, this long sweeper that sends you out onto the front straightaway. McAleer doing a great job there. He's on the gas.
You see him getting air over that
Yeah.
bump. He has the tight line. Further inside you are, the worse that bump is in turn 17. But C.J. Wilson is making it work. They're working together. They're pulling a gap.
Lionel Kent runs 3rd. That's one of the Alara cars. Then you've got Nathaniel Sparks, another independent team. That's a family-owned race team. A move for position a little further back in the field here as we flash by start-finish. Got a good battle. Some of the Skip Barber Mazda Speed Challenge cars starting to make some noise here. That's Dennis Trebing. He's out in front of that group.
Dennis, I bet, is a young kid who's got a lot of talent, and he's giving some of these MX-5 Cup cars a real challenge.
We'll keep an eye on Trebing. This is Harrison Williams from the Alara team in the 00. Let's get on board here and get a sense of how fast these cars are.
Great camera angle. You tap out 3rd gear here into the carousel.
One more look at the 6 sideways entries. Let's pick up the field a little further back now. This battle, here's Trebing trying to make a move and gain another spot.
We're in Big Bend. We're heading for the hairpin. Big break zone. Trebing could take a shot at him here. He's working the draft. Let's see if he pops out. He's going for it.
Charles Paquin, yeah.
He's just getting in the mirrors. Not going to happen unless he scared him wide. He scared him wide. Look at that. It worked.
Charles Paquin may give up a spot there. Meantime, back to the leaders. You've still got McAleer out in front. Right behind him is Elliott Skier.
Skier's hanging on, and they're pulling. They're drawing away. They're drawing away.
As we watch the two C.J. Wilson cars run 1, 2 through the S's here, a position change. Aaron Malkasian, series veteran, the team principal of Elara, he's moved to third now in front of Nathaniel Sparks. Now, the draft is critical here, Randy, but SCCA Pro Racing, they don't allow bump drafting in these machines. You've got to be tucked up tight, but you can't be too tight.
Close enough to dust the bumper. But the fact that the MX-5s run as convertibles, that actually reduces their aerodynamic efficiency, and it makes the draft more effective. So you don't need to be as close, but the closer you are, the faster you go. And they're heading into turn 16. This is where it's the most important, going down that long back straight.
So if you can get up close and use the draft, can you slingshot to make a pass?
Absolutely. You got to get, get your muscles going, get all your courage stirred up. But it doesn't look like Skier is close enough for a pass. In fact, he's not really close enough to get a huge benefit off the draft.
4 or 5 car lengths, not enough. Now, you mentioned the open cockpit nature of these MX-5 Cup cars and the aerodynamic efficiency. With it being an open cockpit car, you probably have to work harder to use the draft.
The draft benefits you more because the car's less aerodynamic without a roof on it. And it's also much more breezy, and you got the sun on your your face, and
just a nice casual ride in the Florida sun, right?
It is. I don't think it's casual for the leaders.
No, it's not. It's not casual for the third place car.
Side by side.
Absolutely. This is Nathaniel
Sparks is trying the outside. He's got a little dirt. I don't know if he's pulled it off yet. No. In fact, he may get. Oh, he's getting. They got a shot at him from behind.
On the inside, Dan Bender, one of the Atlanta Motorsports Group entries, the 06 out of Illinois. He gets by Nathaniel Sparks for position. That's a great 3-car battle.
Look at these guys jumping the curbs and drifting through the carousel, but you could see that Sparks made a move, it didn't work, and he lost exit speed, and Bender came through clean out of one and took him. Now they're heading for the hairpin.
Aaron Malkasian now up to third there in the Elara car. Right behind him is Bender. And here comes Sparks.
You know what? Malkasian's driving clean, and these guys are still catching him with their racing. So I think they may be a little quicker than Ara.
You see the ouch on the back of Nathaniel Sparks' machine. He's been off a couple of times this weekend. They've had to straighten some body work on that car. Hasn't hurt the speed at all out of Spanish Fort, Florida.
He sounds like a young driver who's really going for it.
Fans loving the action. The Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup. It's a great weekend at Sebring. We'll be right back on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Welcome back to Sebring International Raceway, coverage of the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. I'm Rick Benjamin. Randy Popst is alongside. Todd Lewis has our coverage on pit road. Looking back at the backstretch, 3rd, 4th, and 5th still in play, Randy.
Still in play, but the gap has opened up. The 2 lead C.J. Wilson cars, they're going, and they're almost gone.
It is certainly a case of Stephen McAleer having things figured out. He was the pole qualifier. This is the battle for 4th now. You've got Bender and Sparks. They're really going at it. I like the fight.
They had quite different lines. Bender ran it wide. He was looking for that smooth pavement. Sparks apexed a little later and almost got under him.
Aaron Malkasian continues to run 3rd in that yellow Elara car. He is in that position. Side by side, though, for 4th as they head for turn 1.
Yeah, who's it going to be? Sparks turns down across him and takes the corner.
Let's get more. Here's Todd Lewis.
Just a quick update on Dean Copeland, who had those problems we talked about during qualifying, never registered a time and was forced to start at the back. He is continuing his charge forward, currently up to 6th spot on the grid. Just checked with the team. No, he's not saying anything on the radio, and they said, we're not talking to him. We don't mess with him while he's in the car. He can get a little crazy. He'll continue that charge until this race is over.
Well, look at this. Copeland, Dean, Smith, Simzak, they're here. They've come all the way from last because they're hooked up. They're keeping it clean. We've got Bender and we've got Sparks going back and forth and battling, and it's slowing them down.
And we've young Dennis Trebing trying to work his way around and pick up 9th position here. What about this, Randy? The draft, he's flashing the lights too.
He's using the lights as an intimidation factor. He's down the inside and he's pulling it off. He's pulling it off. It works. Let's see if it sticks.
Dennis Trebing, the quickest of the Mazda Speed Challenge cars, the Skip Barber cars, gets by, picks off the position overall, and he uses the draft to his good advantage here.
Picks off Pickett.
That's right.
Pickett's, look, the draft is coming back again. He's going to take a shot at him. Doesn't have the brakes for it. He's not going for it. I think he's worried about the people behind him.
Up front, meantime, Stephen McAleer is still the leader for C.J. Wilson Racing. He's leading Elliott Skier's car and started to open up a little advantage. Now here's the battle for third position. Still, Ara Malkasian has third, and the good fight is for fourth.
Look at that gap from the leaders to the third place battle. I don't think they're going to be in it for the win.
Nathaniel Sparks in fourth position. He's putting a lot of pressure on Ara Malkasian's car now as they fight it out for third. And then the fight further back, Dean Copeland in front of the 2-6 sideways cars.
The Copeland Express is coming forward, and Ara Malkasian there, he's actually slower than the next 5 cars behind him.
So do you think that Ara is holding up the freight train at this point?
Ara has had the benefit of those 2 guys, Bender and Sparks, racing behind him. And at this point, we'll just have to wait and see.
Malkasian leads this group into the final right-hander here at Sebring International Raceway. Out onto the front straightaway, running in third spot. Sparks gets a great run off this final corner.
Watching the MX-5s go through there, I'm amazed at how well they soak it up. But you're right, Sparks has got to run. He's got Bender up behind him. They're trying to double up on Malkasian and get by him because they see those guys coming up from behind.
Now Bender goes wide. They make it 3 deep going into the corner. Contact, a mirror goes flying, and let's see if Bender can fit in the middle here, thread the needle with that race car.
Into the gap goes Bender, and they're 3 wide coming down into turn 3. I don't think all 3 are coming out.
Now Sparks on the outside. They stay 3 wide through the corner. Bender's got the advantage. Sparks onto the grass.
Curbs. And here comes the Copeland Express with all that racing. They're slowing them down. Holy cow, we got a knot of cars heading for the hairpin.
This is all for third spot, and Dan Bender at the moment. Nathaniel Sparks, they're fighting for position. Malkasian trying to hold this group back. Now they're 4 wide.
Copeland's on the outside. That's not going to work. You got to be inside. Sparks is in the best position. That's a lot of cars.
Sparks is the leader, but they're 3 wide behind him, and Bender goes around.
6 go in, 5 come out. Nice recovery on Bender's part, though.
That Bender able to grab a gear and keep going. Now we're single file. Here's Dean Copeland. He comes out of this one in pretty good shape.
We got a whole new mix.
They are 3 wide into the right-hander. One more look at it here.
Oh, Bender comes down on Simzak. A racing incident.
Bender able to recover nicely, and Nathaniel Sparks comes out of this one in great shape at the head of this group of cars.
He's at the head, but he's got some heat. I think these guys, that's John Dean, I believe, born and raised 10 miles from Sebring. He's going to give him a lot of trouble.
Sparks emerges as your third-place car. Dean is
down
fourth
the inside,
now.
down the inside. Nice
That's
move
John
if he can hold
Dean,
it.
yeah.
If he can hold it.
Using that apron, using that rumble strip on the outside.
He's using the crown and the road. At Sebring, if you got experience there, you know on the inside you got grip.
John Dean in his first start of the series from 20th to 3rd.
And Sparks is right on his tail.
Let's get on board with Dean Copeland once again.
I like the onboard shots. You can see his car's got a little understeer. Notice very little correction. He's got the wheel turned into the corner the whole way through.
Up onto the backstretch here at Sebring.
It's nice and stable that way, but it doesn't have the speed.
The C.J. Wilson cars out in front, continuing to lead and dominate here. The 28 car is your leader. That's Stephen McAleer.
McAleer is gone. He is running a beautiful race. His car's working. Skier's not far back, and this pack that we saw racing, it slows him down. Look at that gap.
Great battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, and Dean at the moment at the head of that group. But as you say, that battle allows the first 2 to pull away.
Sparks has got a run out of 17. He drafts up on Dean and pulls down to the inside. Here comes Malkasian. They're double teaming him. I think those are both the Lara front bumpers.
It looks that way. The bodywork borrowed maybe by Nathaniel Sparks' team. Sparks picks up the position here.
But
Dean right back at him.
Oh yeah, Dean is quick through 1. Inside on 3. He's making it work.
John Dean in the 16 for 6 sideways racing, and Sparks got up on 2 wheels momentarily. Here's Ara Malkasian back at him.
He's hurting the exit for Sparks. Dean's going to get out. Dean's going to get out. He's got a little gap.
And Dean Copeland moving past Malkasian to pick up a position there. Malkasian gives up ground. There's some damage. Parts fly.
Are flying. Okay, Dean is hoping these guys will hold him up with the battle behind him.
So Dean runs 3rd, Nathaniel Sparks is 4th, then it's Copeland and Malkasian. These Mazda MX-5 Cup machines extremely durable. A great day of racing underway here at Sebring. Back Back on the Mazda Motorsports Hour, Mazda is all about developing drivers for higher levels of competition in motorsport. They're also heavily invested in preparing teams to take some of those steps up the ladder.
For the first time in a long time, all eyes in the MX-5 paddock are not on the Atlanta Motorsports gang. After 3 straight championships, this powerhouse team has decided to take a new approach to racing in 2012.
We've learned so much the last 3 years, and last year after winning the championship with Michael Cooper, Michael advanced with the Mazda ladder program, and we went along with him. So this year we're concentrating our efforts on the Pirelli World Challenge Series. We're going to be running a Mazda Speed 3 with Michael Cooper over there. It's exciting. We're a little fish in a big pond, and we're learning a lot.
Tony and Michael have proven to be quick studies, taking this new Mazda to class victories in their first 2 races.
It's really helped me as a racer go from the learning process in MX-5 Cup to win that championship and make the jump to Pirelli World Challenge in the Mazda Speed 3.
That's the whole objective of the Mazda system, is to keep drivers learning and moving them up the ladder.
Yeah, keep them learning and experiencing new types of cars and new situations so they can learn and eventually apply that to the highest level of sports car or the Mazda Road to Indy's Formula Car world.
Michael Cooper is quickly reaching for the top rung of sports car racing. His next run at Sebring just might be 12 hours long. And for Atlanta Motorsports, they're already looking for the next MX-5 Cup driver they can push up the Mazda Speed ladder.
They're young, they're wanting to learn. I can show them what we've learned in the past 3 years and really accelerate them up to the fast pace that they need to be.
You see that distinguished gray-haired gentleman the young Michael Cooper was talking to? That's Jim Bell, real live race engineer, secret weapon at Atlanta Motorsports Group. And now we're looking at the leaders, the C.J. Wilson team. They've got Jason Saney, a former champion in this series.
And they are moving, of course, in the direction they're racing in Grand Am with this race team. Meantime, trouble for one of the Alara cars. Here's Todd.
Guys, this is the drive-through penalty being served by the 00 car of Harrison Williams. Jumped the start, was penalized. They had a little difficulty getting him to serve it because of radio issues, but now he served it and it goes back into the fight.
Oh, that can kill you.
Yeah.
That stop and go costs probably a good 30 seconds more on track.
On a long pit road like you have at Sebring, by the time you get down to pit road speed and get back up to speed, yeah, it definitely will ruin your lap. There's no doubt. Here's a battle for position. These are some of the front-running cars. The 06 car chasing the car of Nathaniel Sparks for position. And there's Christian Simzik there trying to get that 6 sideways 34 car up into contention as well.
I think Sparks has been using up those BFGs, and now Bender and Simzik are catching up with him. Simzik's on the move.
4th, 5th, and 6th in play. John Dean up in 3rd position right now. Sparks gets back around Simzik.
See?
Bender right there. They're 3 wide again.
Oh my gosh, I think Sparks' tires are gone. He's got them overheated. He doesn't have the grip, but boy, he's driving it for all it's worth.
Now, tires, of course, crucial to any form of racing, but when these cars are so evenly matched, as Bender puts pressure on the inside for position, trying to chase down Eric Malkasian as well. Can you cool the tires, Randy, and get grip back on them?
Oh, yeah. If you can cool it for a little bit, you can get it back. I don't know if Nathaniel Sparks can do that. He drives flat out all the time.
Young driver, of course, when you're a part of a single-car team in Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup action, you don't have a lot of help, but he's really doing a terrific job this weekend.
He is. He doesn't have a Jim Bell, a guy with 30 years racing at the top levels, and I admire that. I love this kid.
Sure. You got to like the effort he's turning in here this weekend. We showed you some of the sheet metal damage on that car that he's picked up this weekend. Let's take a look at the Skip Barber Mazda Speed Challenge cars. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in play here. Dennis Trebbing with a big lead, but Knight, Moen, and Lee are next in line.
They're racing for 2nd.
Yeah, at this stage of the game, no question about that. And learning how these cars work on the racetrack here at Sebring. These are drivers who hope to make the step up into the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup.
The MX-5 is a driver's car, and Sebring has every kind of corner, and they just work here. Look at our leader, McAleer. That car is hooked up. He's been, like I said, consistent, clean, turning the laps, no mistakes, and he is gone.
Nathaniel Sparks, meantime, and Dan Bender fighting for position. There's the 34 car as well. Christian Simzik, they're fighting for 5th position now, 3 wide.
These guys make great TV.
Wow.
They're not turning that good of lap times, but boy, I love to watch it. They dirt it through that kink every time.
Christian Simzik from Palos Verdes, California. Bender from Illinois. Nathaniel Sparks from Florida. A series that brings drivers from coast to coast to do battle at these MX-5 Cup machines.
Hollywood would love these guys because they're raising the smoke. You know, you don't need the smoke bombs.
No dry ice.
They're creating their own.
There you go. Again, 3 wide.
Into the hairpin. Sparks trying the outside. A little touch, little kiss, little kiss.
Through the S's at Sebring. Bender right there.
Bender's got to run.
Yeah.
Sparks slowed him down when he banged into that car. Bender's all over him.
Sparks starting to hold up Bender just a little bit now. We'll see if Bender can dip to the inside heading into the right-hander.
They got more new tire marks every lap. Simzik's just trying to get away.
Christian Simzik in the white car, one of the 2-6 sideways entries. Emily Timinovich, one of the True Car drivers. She goes around, collects it, and gets back underway.
Yeah, we don't know if she had any help there or not. Well, there's another car, maybe.
One of the C.J. Wilson entries, Charles Paquin's machine off course, avoids slapping the soft wall, but there it is again. Wow.
That's the wide line. Oh,
got a little bit of a tank slapper going there, I think.
Oh, man, I know that prayer when you're heading for the wall. Stop, baby, stop.
Brakes are good on these cars, but sometimes you get on the grass, the brakes aren't enough.
Keep it on the black stuff.
Words to live by. Hey, this season on the Mazda Motorsports Hour, we're going to provide some coverage of the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship powered by Mazda. Let's show you some of the Sebring action on the green flag, a wild one. They would go 5 wide into turn 1. Matthew Brabham takes the early lead, and he was headed off to a great start and a great day. Trent Hindman with some damage to the 3 car. I'll show you what happened as they came under the bridge heading into turn 1. 5 wide at one point. A lot of contact. You're on board with Matthew DeLeo. Wing comes flying. He just avoids it. This is a wild one, Randy Popst.
Well, you know what? It looked like Biancardi's a little slow off the pole, but he goes for the apex, and Hindman's already underneath him. And the Formula cars, you can't touch.
Luigi Biancardi, the pole starter in the 15. Randy, you thought he might have missed a shift. He gets crossed up and gets in that tangle.
There was a stack up. It made the field even wider and thicker. And poor DeLeo, he's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. At least he didn't hit him.
Lengthy caution after that incident. There's the 3 of Hindman going out on the hook.
Oh, no, that's my buddy, Eric Filgaris. He was having a great run from last on the grid. I think he was up to about 6. Somebody's whacked him under yellow.
They clean things up. Green comes back out, and Matthew Brabham, just turned 18 from a very famous racing family, takes off.
He looks good in the hairpin. Look at him carrying that speed. Clearly a faster driver than the next 3 guys through.
There would be one more incident, another full course yellow, and this one would end under caution. So Matthew Brabham opens up the Cooper Tires, presents the USF 2000 Championship powered by Mazda season with a dominant victory at Sebring International Raceway. And we'll have a lot of coverage of the USF 2000 National Championship all season long. After the checkers, Todd spoke to our winner.
Matt Brabham, you said you wanted to get out front right away. Worked out that way. Even though you didn't feel so great last night, you got to be feeling pretty good now.
Yeah. All the feelings from this morning that I had being sick have just gone right out the window, and I'm just absolutely over the moon about how the race went, and it went exactly to plan. So I'm absolutely thrilled to get my first the first win in the series. So it's been fantastic.
Congratulations, winner of race number 1.
Thank you very much.
Look at that. His ears fit inside the hat just like his dad, Jeff. SkyActiv technology is part of what's new at Mazda. I love it because it combines performance and efficiency without electric, without hybrid, yet not a drag to drive.
Fans at Sebring enjoying the Mazda display, looking at street cars and race cars as well as we watch Dennis Trebbing continuing to lead the Skip Barber Mazda Speed Challenge cars. 10 laps go on the board. Stephen McAleer hasn't put a wheel wrong all day, Randy Popst.
He is looking so good out there. He is really quick, touching the dirt when it's not hurting him. You know, he just tracks out, makes the track a little wider, gains another 50 RPM on the exit, carries it all the way down to turn 10. Skier's back there keeping him honest. He's doing a great job. They're both clear of the whole field. And if McAleer makes a mistake, Skier's going to be right on his butt.
Elliott Skier, of course, the Mazda Speed Shootout winner. So for a young driver with essentially his first pro racing start underway here, very impressive.
I think the team has done a great job of setting up these cars. Jason Saney at the C.J. Wilson Racing team. C.J. Wilson, you might recognize that name.
Oh, yeah. Great pitcher in the American League. Moves to the Anaheim Angels this season. Big free agent signing. Plenty of money to fund the race team, I would say.
Yes. Here we go. We got some action into the hairpin.
12th and 13th, Tim Probert, Brett Mosing, Jeff's brother. They're kind of being split here by Knight and Lee, a couple of the Skip Barber machines running second and third in that category. The red cars, of course, the Skip Barber Mazda Speed Challenge machine. So good action back in the pack here at Sebring.
Looks like that Skip Barber car wants to take a shot at Probert, but look how the gap has opened up to Mosing. It's going to make it tougher for Mosing to try to pick up that position.
David Knight trying to work his way by Tim Probert. Now remember, the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup car should have a little bit of an advantage here, but these Skip Barber machines very quick as we watch the race leader heading down into the corner, final corner on this racetrack. And Stephen McAleer racing out of New York, the New York City area. Really, he's done a terrific job.
I love how the MX-5s soak up those unbelievable bumps. There's one under that bridge that gets all four wheels off the ground on the GT cars.
White flag in the air at Sebring International Raceway. These Mazda MX-5 Cup machines, plenty durable, plenty reliable. We're seeing a lot of speed out of these cars. There's your second place machine. Elliott Skier, the winner of the Mazda Speed Shootout last season. He has that fully funded ride as he works his way up the Mazda Speed driver development ladder.
And here comes the local hero, John Dean II. I'm proud of him, born and raised here in Sebring.
He's done a very nice job with that. You know, when a race team comes along, and here comes his teammate to the inside, the 34 car, Christian Simzik, making his way by one of the Alara entries here. When a new race team comes on the scene, this is a tough series to learn the tricks and then get yourself in position, come from the back of the grid to the front. That's an accomplishment.
Like they told me when I first drove a Porsche Cup, they are specialists. These guys that are in the series, they know all the tricks. You're right.
Running order, top of your screen. Final lap here at Sebring International Raceway. Season opener for the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup. Part of a doubleheader weekend. We'll have coverage of the second half of the doubleheader next time around on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Heading under the Mobile One Bridge, trying to stay in the draft here. Arab Al-Khajian trying to get back into this.
Yeah, they're still racing for position here. They're going neck and neck. Al-Khajian a little smoother, a little cleaner.
Arab Al-Khajian, a guy who put in a lot of work in the offseason, said, hey, I'm going to contend for this year's championship. He dropped a lot of weight. He went to the gym a lot, spent a lot of time working on his personal fitness and training. Looks great. He's been quick all weekend.
Good man. I love seeing anybody take responsibility for their health.
Working on Simzik here. Al-Khajian on the outside, going to get up alongside the 34.
It's a long way around the outside. It doesn't make it work. He's keeping the heat on, though. Simzik could make a mistake.
Trying to work the outside in through the S's. It didn't pan out for him. Now here's another battle for position. That's Nathaniel Sparks as we move back to the front of the field.
McAleer looking good. All he's got to do is bring her home. If he's smart, he's taking about 1% off to make sure there's no mistake. A couple more corners. He's hearing every noise in that car right now.
In that C.J. Wilson entry, Stephen McAleer out of Putnam Valley in New York, trying to kick home his first victory in his Mazda MX-5 Cup career, heading for the final right-hander here at Sebring.
To pull out a lead like that, he's been going hard the whole race and with very few mistakes.
If you could go through one of these half-hour or 45-minute races and never put a wheel wrong, you give yourself a great chance to go to victory lane.
He was lucky to break free.
Yeah.
He had his teammate behind him. They ran clean across the finish line to victory for the kid with the great accent.
Stephen McAleer picks off the win, opening the season. The C.J. Wilson crew members giving their drivers the thumbs up as they run 1-2 here at Sebring.
And there's my buddy John Dean coming across with a podium finish, third place.
John Dean gets his MX-5 Cup career off to a great start. Now here's the 66. This is Dennis Trebbing. He's going to take honors in the Skip Barber Mazda Speed Challenge class. Trebbing, the youngster from Florida, the Trebbing tile entry. Great job.
And he has just blown them away in the Skip Barber class.
A lot of joy into the fist pump here. McAleer wins the opening round of the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup Season Championship, dodging all the debris. We had a lot of contact. These cars are so durable, though. Everybody able to continue and finish here, and it's part of a doubleheader weekend. They've got to get these cars turned around quickly for the second race on the weekend.
Seen the horse races where they're just whipping that thing? Yeah. That's the way those guys were driving. Stephen was up there just clean and smooth.
So Stephen McAleer dominates in the season opener for the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup. Elliott Skier, his teammate, runs second. Great start to the season for C.J. Wilson Racing.
Yeah, I'm reminded of the old Timex watch commercial. These MX-5s can take a licking and keep on ticking.
Plenty of durability, plenty of reliability as well. There's your third place finisher, the 16, John Dean, out of Sebring, Florida, for the 6 Sideways team. We'll talk to him next. Back at Sebring, Stephen McAleer emerging from his winning ride, the C.J. Wilson stable, and their Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup entry in victory lane. Let's get it downstairs to Todd Lewis.
Stephen McAleer has the helmet off, the Hans device off, the Mazda cap on, and a smile on his face. Starts from the pole position. You got the good start that you wanted, and then just led it right to the finish.
Yeah, the plan was to run with Elliott, see if we could get a gap on the third place car. And I just got my head down and I was looking, I was like, oh, we're getting away a bit. I was like, I just keep going, and then all of a sudden the gap started to open up. And yeah, 100% concentration, no mistakes on the first race.
Congratulations on the victory in race number 1. Now you got to do it again in race number 2.
Look forward to it, that should be awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Personally, I hope he's not so good so we have a better race for the lead. He got some help from Elliott Skier and drove a beautiful race for the win.
Did not put a wheel wrong, no question about it. The celebration going on at Victory Lane here at Sebring International Raceway. Jason Saney on the engineering side now, but a former champion of the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup and racing in World Challenge and Grand Am as well. Elliott Skier runs second, a 1-2 sweep for C.J. Wilson's team. John Dean and Dean Copeland, the independent driver from Bowie, Maryland. Christian Simczak, so 3rd and 5th for the 6 Sideways team out of Sebring, their first time in the series.
And that was the Copeland Express. Those 3 came from last to 3rd, 4th, 5th.
Take a look at the rest of the running order. Chad McCumbee, the NASCAR veteran, has to settle for 20th at last after he breaks a hub on the initial start. Let's talk to our runner-up.
Elliott Skier, a solid 2nd place finish. You're behind your teammate, but a pretty good run in race number 1 of the season.
Yeah, the Mazda Speed Motorsports, C.J. Wilson Racing, Mazda MX-5 was great out there. I mean, it really was, as it was getting better throughout the run, but I just feel like there was a little bit more left in it, so hopefully we can come back tomorrow and do even better.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I know exactly what he means. It's like kissing your sister. You know, he's happy to be 2nd, but he wanted to win.
You want more?
Yep.
Let's take a look at how things worked out in the Skip Barber Mazda Speed Pro Challenge ranks. Dennis Trebbing with an easy win over David Knight and Zachary Lee. Here's Todd.
Skip Barber winner, Dennis Trebbing. A great drive in this one, first race of the year.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a great race. We had a great start and a great consistent race throughout. I'd just like to thank my sponsors, Trebbing Talent, Uwe Alton Automotive, for getting me here, and Skip Barber for providing such a great car. And just looking forward maybe doing a couple more races throughout the season.
Great job.
Thank you.
Sounds like a Mazda shootout winner of the future to me. He's polished.
Yeah, he's making his way up the Mazda Speed ladder. There's no question about it. Now, next week on the Mazda Motorsports Hour, we'll come back and show you the second half of the doubleheader weekend here at Sebring. The action, Randy, was even wilder.
I know these MX-5s really create a lot of hard racing.
And in 2 weeks, we'll take you to St. Petersburg, Florida, the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, and a wild opening weekend of action in the Star Mazda Championship. Big step up the Mazda road to Indy. It'll be a lot of fun to watch the Star Mazda guys do battle throughout the course of the season. Let's meet our 3rd place finisher at Sebring in the MX-5 Cup opener.
John Dean has a smile on his face. Difficult break at the start of this, having to go to the back of the field, but what a drive to climb back up onto the podium.
Yeah, and at the end of the race there, I was trying to talk to my crew guy, hey, where'd we finish? And I couldn't understand what he was saying, you know? I'm like, what'd you say? Like, I couldn't tell if he was saying 4th, 5th. I had no idea where I was in the pack. To come up 3rd, you know, our first race in Playboy Cup, our first race as a team, you know, we're all new out here, and it was unfortunate that we had to start 20th. But, you know, we showed that we could run with these guys right off the bat, and I think that's something special. It's a shame my teammate, Christian Simczak, I guess he got tied up back there and wasn't able to come through with me, but both of us had a really good showing from 19th and 20th to, you know, near the front there.
Great job.
Thanks.
I remember when that kid was born, and he doesn't look that young.
No. He's come a long way in a few years, obviously. We hope you've enjoyed a wild season opener. We've got a lot more racing to cover all season long. We've got the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup, the USF 2000 National Championship, and the Star Mazda Series. You'll see it all this year on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Thanks for joining us.